Maliss is about to become extremely powerful post-Alliance Insight. What is up guys, Brandon Chan here, and today we're gonna talk about Maliss post-Alliance Insight. You may be saying, tier 0, best deck, this guy is capping. But to be honest with you guys, I wish. The new support makes this deck crazy good. I was testing a little bit on Dwelling Book with my boy Diego, and let me tell you guys, I had so many bodies on field that I didn't even know what to do with them. The deck can spam bodies, can easily link climb, it has extenders, consistency card, it can play through even Lancea now. I am by no means a Maliss expert, but I just want to show you guys how the new cards, what they do, how they can play now through Lancea, and so on. And let me tell you guys beforehand is that it doesn't matter what they ban, they can put Alin to 1, they can put even Dormouse to 1, the deck will still be very strong. And this is because the Cybers type has everything you can ask for. It has 2 Link 1s, 3 if you include Link Spider. If you want to add consistency, just add Signet Mining. If you want to add extenders, you can add Madness Sigma or Code of Soul. You can play Allure of Darkness, you can play more Bestials. It's just the fact that there are so many cards that can make the deck more consistent and more powerful. And now they have an Omni Negate. That is why more than Maliss, I call it a Cybers pile. It is so strong that people in the OCG are main decking Lancea. So to start off, let's go over the new cards to show you guys how custom they look like for the Maliss deck. Alright, let's start over with the new support. This what I think it is like a very standard deck list. You can definitely cut a lot of things. You can cut one cheesy, maybe one March Hare, even some normal summons like Dormouse or White Rabbit, and change your non-engine. And also you can consider playing other cards like Sigma, Signet Mining, Allure of Darkness, Code of Soul, or even Dotscaper. Like I usually say, if you are starting out with the deck, I usually consider playing as many extenders as possible. So let's start off with the Maliss cards, which to be honest with you guys, these cards, the ignisters cards are called ignisters, but I think they are basically Maliss cards. They are so custom that I consider them Maliss cards as well. Let's start with Maliss in the Mirror. This card not only is good for solidifying your board and making it better going first, but it's good going second and breaking the board. It can be a good out to detonator. It's basically an infinite impermanence. It says target one face-up monster your opponent controls, banish one monster from your hand or face-up on the field, and if you do, negate that target monster effect until the end of the turn. And the fact that it banishes a Maliss monster from your hand or face it up on the field, it's actually beneficial to you. You can banish a Maliss monster like Dormouse and special summon it, and without even committing your normal summon. Or you can even banish a card like, let's say going second, you finish on Red Ransom plus this on the field. You can banish your Red Ransom, special summon it paying 900, and banishing, let's say for example, White Rabbit. White Rabbit is going to trigger and it's going to activate its effective set, and you can set MTP, which is 2 interruptions out of just ending on Red Ransom and Maliss in the Mirror. It also has a third effect, which is if this card is banished, you can target one Maliss card in your graveyard, banish it, and if you do, add one Maliss card of the same type. So if you banish a trap card, you can search a trap card, which is also adds some sort of consistency. And you can also search monsters like March Hare, which is an extenders, and so on. So overall, this card is really good. It helps you solidify your end board, break boards, and you can easily search it with Red Ransom. Now we have Maliss March Hare, which says your opponent cannot target Maliss Link monsters that points to this card with card effects. Remember, all Maliss main deck monster has a secret effect when a Maliss Link monster points to them. Also, she says during the main phase, if this card is in your hand, you can banish one other Maliss monster from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. Also, if this card is banished, you can pay 300 and you can target one of your banished Maliss monsters, add it to your hand. Remember, you can also add herself. This is very important, because let's say for example you activate Dormouse, you banish her, and you can actually activate her effect and target March Hare and have it in hand, and then you can link one, activate March Hare, and then you have basically your standard Maliss setup. It is basically a searchable Bestial and an extender, so that way you can play, let's say, around Impulse during your opponent's turns. So let's say for example you activate GWC, you guaranteed banishing your monster, because if they negate it with Impulse, you still have March Hare in your hand to trigger, let's say for example, your White Binder. So this card adds an extender, It adds another name, which is huge. Now basically her and let's say for example Cheesy is also a crazy 2-card combo. You can start with Cheesy, try to draw 2. If they ash it, for example, you can link 1, activate Marcher, and so on. Just crazy card. So let's start with the ignister cards, which like I said before, I consider them Maliss cards because they're just so custom. Let's start with backup. Backup says if you control a Cyrus monster special summon from the extra deck, which is just really easy to have. If you just only need 1 body on the field, link it off into a link 1 and you already have a monster from the extra deck. You can special summon this card. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 dark Cybers monster from your deck to your hand and then discard a card. And this is why I say the card is just insane, and it basically looks like a Maliss support because it exactly says 1 dark Cyrus monster, which basically all Maliss monsters are dark. You can easily search Marcher and have an extender in hand, but usually you will try and search Wizard. So usually you will search Wizard, but let's say for example you already have Wizard in hand and you don't have any Maliss name in rotation. You can easily search, let's say for example, any Maliss monster, discard it, and then you can easily go into a splash page, bring it back, and go into your Maliss engine. Now let's go over Wizard. Wizard says if you control a Cybers monster special summon from the extra deck, you can target 1 Cybers monster in your graveyard, special summon both this card from your hand and that monster in defense position. Just how crazy is that? You have basically out of 1 card in your hand, you have 2 bodies on field. Just insane, guys. So this card is just a crazy extender. It is just 2 body just because Konami said so. And also it has another effect in the graveyard that says you can banish this card from your field or graveyard and target 1 monster your opponent controls, change its battle's position. It could come off. Oh, remember that this card locks you into Cybers monster, but who cares? This is a Cybers pile. It is like saying lock into water monsters if you're playing Mermaid, for example. So now let's go over the extra deck monster, Access Code Talker Ignister, which is basically a Maliss card, and I'm gonna show you guys why. This card says if this card is link summon, you can activate this effect. It's optional. You cannot special summon other monster for the rest of the turn, so it is like a Typhoon type of monster. You can also opt to not activating that effect. This card says when you activate it, you can special summon as many Cybers monster with 2300 attack from your graveyard as possible to your zone this card points to, and if you do, this card gain 500 for each. So it is a great card also to OTK. When your opponent activates a card effect, you can tribute 1 link monster this card points to, negate the activation, and if you do, banish that card. So basically this card is a monster reborn for monsters with 2300 attack in the graveyard. And guess which monsters in the extra deck has 2300 attack? The Maliss monsters. Red Ransom and White Binder basically have 2300 attack, as well as Transcode Talker and Heat Soul, which that's why we are using Heat Soul in this build, because you can easily go into it, link climb, and then reborn it back with the link 5. Also, let's say for example you want to continue comboing off, you don't need to activate its effect. You can manage your end board and special summon him on a zone where he points to, let's say, a link monster. Just special summon it to play around Nib and continue comboing off with your extenders, for example. Now, a question you may have, for example, is how do you access your ignister cards if you don't open them? Well, there is a card called Cybers Wicked, and what this card does is this link summon card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. Cybers monsters this guy points to cannot be destroyed by card effect. And the important effect, which is if a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to while you control this monster, you can banish 1 Cybers monster from your graveyard, add 1 Cybers tuner from your deck to your hand. And guess what is a Cybers tuner? Yes, the new backup ignister card. This card is, and with this, you just have to special summon something, let's say anything. It can be a Bestial, it can be a Maliss monster. Then you will trigger her, banish a Cybers from the graveyard, which if it is, let's say for example, a Maliss card, you can trigger it and search with backup. Since you already have a monster from the extra deck, you can special summon backup. Backup will search, let's say for example, Wizard, and pop off from there. So this is how the ignister cards match so well with the Maliss cards, how you can easily get your access to the ignister cards just going to Cybers Wicked. And it's just, I think the way you should approach this deck is more as a cyber spell, because if you play like a pure Malice deck, it will lose to Lancea. But if you focus more on a cyber spell type of deck, your deck shouldn't lose to Lancea as easy. So I'm not gonna show you guys combos like spreadsheet combos, but I'm just gonna give you guys my approach when it comes to playing through Lancea. And it's just, I'm no Malice expert by the way, by any means. It's just a small take on how do I think you should approach when playing through Lancea. Definitely the ignister cards can help you a lot with that. Later I'm gonna show you guys how the full end board will look like if you just open the backup, which is just crazy. But let's say for example you manage to put 2 bodies on field. You activate Sigma and you normal summon Cheesy, a little bit left leg. And our opponents, remember always now at post Alliance Inside, always do Lancea in the standby phase or draw phase, because the new Malice monster can activate only during the main phase. That's very important, I forgot to say that. And because if you do it during the main phase, if they can chain the new Malice monster and banish, let's say for example Cheesy, and already have 2 bodies on field without even normal summoning. So they're probably gonna have 3 bodies on field. So remember, always activate Lancea during, and also that way you can play around talents. So let's say our opponents activate Lancea in the standby phase. We activate Sigma, normal summon Cheesy. From here we're gonna go into Splash Mage. Splash Mage is gonna special summon, oh sorry about that. Well, it's gonna special summon a Malice monster, and then we're gonna link them off. And we can easily just go into Red Ransom. We're gonna activate Red Ransom effect, and we're gonna search for the new card, the Malice in the Mirror. And this setup guarantees a negate and a banish and a non-targeting banish. And I'm gonna show you how during our opponent's turn. Let's say for example our opponent's normal summon Dormouse. Activate its effect. We activate Malice in the Mirror. We banish Red Ransom. Now we can activate Red Ransom effect, special summoning her and banishing a Malice Cybers from the deck. We're gonna banish White Rabbit. White Rabbit, always remember to pay the cost, the 900. Now White Rabbit is gonna special summon herself, paying 300. And when White Rabbit is special summon, we can activate her effect and we can set MTP. And now, just with 2 bodies on field, we managed to end on an infinite permanence and a non-targeting banish under Lancea, which is pretty decent. And now, let's go over what happened if you open backup. By the way, backup, you can search backup with silent mining. Also, you can play more wizards if you're a little bit more scared of Lancea. But let's say we open backup, and just opening White Rabbit will be too broken because we're gonna have already a trapping rotation. So let's open Cheesy, like last play. By the way, the last play could also be a good takeaway on how to play around Full Wallows. You can special summon Red Ransom and end on the same board, only giving 1 draw if you manage to put 3 bodies on field. You can also go into Heart of Cryptor, I know, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, in this scenario, you will also need a discard. So let's add any random card. Just let's put a Little of Darkness. So let's say our opponent drop Lancea during the draw phase or standby phase. We can normal summon Cheesy, link 1. By the way, I'm just freestyling here a little bit, just common intuition. Special summon Ignister, activate Ignister effect, search for Wizard. Just Wizard is just a crazy extender. A little bit of lag here. Let's just search for Wizard. Here it is. Discard a card. That is why you need a discard. Special summon Wizard, targeting Malice, Cheesy, and special summoning both. Remember, this lock us into Cyber's monster. Now here you can just go into link 2, which could be a Splash Mage. You can activate Splash Mage effect. Here we can go into a link 3 just to spam bodies. Like I said before, this deck can spam bodies so easily. We can go into transcode. Link decoder will trigger. Now we have basically a 2300 attack monster that we can reborn with a ignister monster. So we can now activate transcode, special summon Splash Mage. Here we have infinite options. We can go into Y binder to set a trap. We can go into, let's say for example, red ransom and search for the new Maliss. Let's say for example, search for the Maliss spell card and do the play that I showed you guys before. And yeah guys, so here we have basically a lot of options. We can go into straight into the new links 5, I guess, and activate its effect. And let's say for example, we can special summon transcode. So we have an omni negate, an imperm, and a banish, which is actually pretty good. This hyped me up a little bit. So the deck is actually very decent under Lancea. Now I want to go over what I consider a Maliss Pro deck list. This is a very unique deck list that I haven't seen around. It's very unique, and I'm gonna show you guys why. This player called Chung Chung Kit won the tournament, finished first place. It was a big tournament, 672 duelists in Hong Kong. He managed to win the tournament without playing TB11, which is huge. We have had that trend recently with Pack and Thrift playing no TB11, and it have been performing really well in the past days. So here he also decreased his normal summon by a lot. He only played 1 Cheesy, 1 White Rabbit, and 2 Dormouse, which is crazy. He only played 1 March Hare. He played 3 Ignister. He played a little bit of a higher Cybers count, which he played Sigma and Circular, which is banned in the TCG, I know, but still very impressive. He played 1 Lancea for the crossout, and he played around, I think this is like what, 22, 23 non-engine. He played, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I'm gonna count crossout and call bias non-engine. So 18, 20, 21, and 22 with the Lancea. Very high count. He played Draw in the main, so and Purulia, which Purulia actually is gonna be insane post Alliance Insight. I think it will be very good against YuGiOh and against this version of Maliss, since Marcher usually special summon from hand, as well as backup, as well as Wizard. You can have at least like 3 draws out of it. Of course, you can play around it if you play Maliss well. But yeah, this is what I would consider like a very a pro deck list. This is something that I wouldn't take to like a high level tournament. He also played his extra deck is really tight. Something to really take a look at is that he doesn't play the new Ignister Omni Negate, which is actually very interesting. Instead, he decided to play Dark Fluid with his targets, Packbeat and Desa Worm. I think that's his name, I don't remember. The fusion that negates spells, which is actually very interesting. And he played Detonator in the main. He still played Link Spider to play around Nip, and he also has some other interesting tech choices in the extra deck. So that's basically it for today, guys. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think? Will Maliss be the most powerful deck post Alliance Insight, or will YuGiOh still going to be the best deck? So yeah, like always, hasta la próxima. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe.